Everyone, it's Morgan Yates. Today, as you guys can tell, I'm in a different background. I'm in North Carolina filming in my sister's room. If I seem a little like I'm speaking at half volume, it's because my parents are asleep downstairs. They probably won't hear me, but it's also 8:30 a.m. They're on a break from work, so I don't want to be too loud. So yeah, got ready in the past 20 minutes and we are filming this video. So if I also seem tired, that's what's up with that. Today, since we are getting near the new year, and I know that means making resolutions for a lot of people, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 of my top tips to get your life together today, or things you can at least get started on today. A lot of these can be achieved in a day. I try to get creative beyond just like clean your space and purge your closet and things that are a little bit predictable. I kind of start out with ones that are planning related, and then I move on into some like mental health things, and the very last one is my favorite and I think will really help you clarify kind of your whole life. So big promise, but I think it's helpful. So I recommend watching all the way through the end to get tips for a lot of different things. If you guys enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave your resolutions in the comments below so we can all get ideas from each other. I'll have my Instagram below if you're interested. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the 10 tips. Number one is number one for a reason, because YouTube and everything like that revolves around technology as just in general. I feel like even if you aren't into social media, your life in some way depends on a phone and or a laptop. So number one is to have a system to back up your technology in case your phone should get stolen, as mine has, and then I lost everything, or your laptop to break, as mine has, and I lost a couple months of things because I had not been backing it up regularly. I'm gonna try to make this video as short as possible, so I'm not gonna go into detail, but I'm gonna have linked below this device on Amazon that I use to back up my phone. You just plug your charger into this little SanDisk thing that's like a storage backup. Essentially, it has a memory card. Do not trust iPhoto because it's linked to your Apple ID, and long story short, my phone got stolen. Someone changed the password. Apple was zero help. Trust me, I have tried everything. And I had no way of re-accessing all of my phone backups. So definitely recommend backing up your photos there. Also just have a hard drive that I use Time Machine on my MacBook to back up my laptop. So step one, if you don't do that and then something goes wrong to either your phone or your laptop, your life is going to be very, very out of order. So yeah, number one, not that exciting, but necessary. Number two, and something that I am so bad about keeping organized because of how much I do work and I'm saving files and everything like that on my laptop, is keeping an organized desktop space. Just having all of my files organized into folders that they belong in, as well as keeping my footage organized and keeping up with my emails and sorting those into folders they go into. So to start getting your life together today, I recommend that you begin to sort through all of the files that you have just laying around. If you are a screenshotter like myself and you can't even see your desktop wallpaper because you have so many things screenshot that are chilling there, you definitely need to do this. When I have a clean digital space, it really helps me, of course, to be more organized, but just to feel like, I don't know, it's kind of the same logic of like having a clean room for me. If you're spending all your time on your laptop, having a clean laptop, if you will, really does make a difference. Number three, I have a prop for this one. If you are a physical planner like myself, I do keep a slight digital planner that really just has like dates that like brain deals are due, or that like I have meetings or things like that. I don't know, really, really important things are on my calendar on my laptop. However, I prefer writing things down in a planner. My favorite planner that I have used for 3 years now are these by Bando. They switch out the covers every year. These are the largest ones. I really like the insides because, not that you can tell there, but it's not lined, so I can fit a lot on there. So I'll have this one linked below if you guys have not yet purchased a planner for next year. But tip three is to color code your planner in a way that makes sense for you. If you can tell, I have a bunch of different colors hidden underneath there, and how I sort of arrange mine is to have a color for work top priority things. So that's like when I need to film something, when I need to edit something. The next color is for work lower priority. So if that's emails, specific like people that I need to remember to email, or sending in analytics for a brand deal, or reaching out to a new brand that I want to, that's like important, but it's not like this has to happen right now, and if it doesn't happen on this exact day, then like I'm gonna die, you know? I have a third color where I highlight brand deadlines. So if a post is due that day where I need to send in my preview to the brand, and then also I highlight the live date. So after I've gotten approval when that goes live. Fourth, I have a color for appointments or meetings or social things or like hangouts or brand events or whatever. Basically anytime I'm leaving my house for something that's at a set time. And then at fifth and lastly, I just have a miscellaneous personal to-do item color. So like doing my laundry or like getting my car washed. I just think color coding things helps everything to stay a little bit more organized. It helps to really inform your mind of what you need to do whenever you look at your planner. And if you are a visual or creative person, then it's just a lot more fun to look at something like that too. Number four, sort of piggybacking off the last one because it has to do with planning and to-do list items, is if you have an issue with procrastinating, as a lot of us do. I implemented this a lot in college and still do now whenever whenever I have just like an overwhelming amount of things to do, if I'm having issues procrastinating, and that is to start approaching your to-do list by doing the last priority thing first, or the thing that you enjoy least first. Of course, this is within reason. You have to be realistic about how much time is in a day. If you have something you really need to get done and it's going to take forever, you know, maybe don't do every single other thing up waiting for that thing to be done last, you know what I mean? But let's say I'm kicking off my Monday morning, I'm feeling motivated, you know, whatever. I have this thing I'm really excited to do, but also have these less enjoyable things I need to do. I'm going to do the less enjoyable things first, because that way, once I've done those and I'm kind of, you know, feeling a little tired, ready for a little break or whatever, hopefully instead of, you know, taking that break and procrastinating, I'm still going to be so excited for the thing I was really excited to do that then I still go on straight to do that. It's the same kind of logic if something's really high priority that you know you have to get done that day. Like for me, if I have a brand deadline the next day, I have to edit that video that night. So maybe I will do some other tasks before that. That way I know that that and the brand deadline are gonna get done, because this has to get done no matter what. So hope that makes sense. There's kind of is a helpful framework to think through priorities with, or to-do list items with. Number 5 is to create a budget, or at least begin taking steps to create a budget, because it's hard to create one if you have no idea where your spending is at. So if you're in that category, how you can start to get your life together today with budgeting is to go ahead and start tracking your spending. So how I really recommend doing that is actually going on Google Sheets, and they have templates there for budgeting. This is one that I tracked my spending with, and basically just go through your past month credit card bill, or like if you have multiple cards, you're gonna have to sort through everything, and it'll take some time. It's very helpful and scary to realize where your money is actually going. So scroll through your whole credit card statement, and if something falls into food or shopping or like groceries or like workout classes or whatever, sort out your purchases, add them up so that you know how much is being spent on everything. It'll be a little traumatic. I personally wanted to die when I saw how much money I was spending on Postmates. But it's really necessary that you do that so that then you can create an informed budget, and one that is more realistic. You can use that Google Sheet you just saw to create. There's also one that looks like this. There are other resources available on the internet, I'm sure. So yeah, if you want to have your life together, create a budget and actually stick to it. So for me, that meant a lot of cutting out buying coffees out places all the time. Like I can go to Target and not get Starbucks. What a concept. I've been cooking a lot more since I did that, because I saw how much I was spending on Postmates and out to dinner in LA. Number 6, this is something you can do whenever you have a little bit of free time. This is something you can do today that is going to make future you thank present you, or at the time they will think past you. You know, every time I was going to the grocery store, I was crafting up my little list, trying to think of random things I always buy and whatever, and it really was just wasted time. So now I have a grocery list template that I just created myself. I went on the notes section of my phone and used the little like circle box that you can check off, if you know what I mean. Then I go to the grocery store, I have a list of everything I buy, and before I go in there, I just uncheck the ones when I'm like looking at my pantry or fridge or whatever. That was a little too bright, sorry. But when I'm just taking inventory of my fridge and my pantry and deciding what I need to get at the grocery store, I just uncheck that box on the list that already exists, so I'm not having to type out everything. It's just very time saving. And I also recommend doing this with a packing list if you're someone who travels a lot, or even if not, honestly, it could be more helpful then, because that way you're not going to forget anything on the spot, because you're already going to have your prepared list. Number 7, I'm such a like Google Docs, Google Sheets gal, so the next one is kind of just to utilize those in a way that makes sense for your life. For example, I have a Google Doc with go-to breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas. So if I'm ever like feeling uninspired with food, I have a bunch of things listed there that I know how to make, or maybe I'll have some new recipe ideas there that I've been wanting to try that I saw in some like BuzzFeed article or whatever. So meal prep is a good one, or even just like planning out how you're gonna use your groceries for that week that you bought so that nothing goes to waste. If you watched my travel routine video, I'll have it linked if you want to check it out. I actually have a dog. I don't use this all the time, but back during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I was shopping a lot, and I wanted to make sure I was wearing all of my outfits and getting use out of the items that I paid for. So I created a doc broken down by city where I put pictures of each item, kind of planning out outfits, as ridiculous as that is, to guarantee that I was wearing a bunch of different clothes and wasn't just going to be re-wearing the same handful of pieces while everything else didn't get any love. I spent the money, so planning that out, that was helpful for me. I had a Google Sheet, Excel sheet, whatever, where I tracked my Christmas presents for people, where I tracked the spending, and like I color coded it. If the row where their name was on was green, that meant I was done with their shopping. If it was yellow, it was in progress. Red, hadn't started. So then I could just look at that sheet and see like where my Christmas present in progress was at. If you watched my Christmas party video, again, really recommend that video. I threw a bomb Christmas party. I really should just be a party planner, but how I do that is with Google Docs. And lastly, another really helpful random one that I would suggest is if you're living with roommates, when you move in, create a sheet tracking who brought everything or who bought everything. So I did that when I moved into my house currently in Los Angeles. So when all three of us like split the price of something, that's noted. When I bought something, that's noted. That way, you know, kind of years down the road or whenever you decide to move out, there's not a question of like who bought what that many years ago, because of course you're not going to remember. My leg's falling asleep, but I'm too short, so I have to stay on it. Number 8 has to do more with mental health and sort of getting your emotions together, or just like being aware of them and increasing your self-awareness. So I recommend creating a mood chart. I did that. Did I do that in this one? How I did it was just draw a little circle, create like a wedge for each day of the month that I numbered, and then I had colors that meant different things. So a color meant like you're sad or happy or excited or angry or frustrated or like whatever. And I just think that can be helpful for noticing patterns over time. It can be helpful for realizing how certain people or situations make you feel. I would like write a little note off to the side if it was like a bad connotation emoji, or what? This is 2018. Emotion. That way I could look back and kind of remember if that feeling was totally out of nowhere or if it was circumstantial. So I just think that can be helpful for your mental health. Number 9, kind of similarly, kind of having to do with self-care for me personally, is I really recommend having a skincare routine. We got to take care of our skin, whether that involves sunscreen, whether that involves like aging things, as I'm beginning to use. I'm just gonna be short for a second because I cannot feel my foot. It just makes me feel really good and put together when I have my little few minutes in the bathroom in the morning, putting on all my serums and like moisturizers and whatever, and the same for at night, and doing like face masks and just little things. I really enjoy skincare. So I don't know, maybe that's not one that you want on there, but I think it's good just in general to be taking care of your skin, even if you're doing the bare minimum. Yeah, my life just feels really together when my skincare is together. And lastly, and I'm gonna be fast on this one, even though it's my favorite, because I'm filming in my sister's room and she just got home. This one I really think will help shape your resolutions for the next year. If you are creating resolutions, or even if not, I think it will bring a lot of clarity to your life in general. So this one is to evaluate your thoughts and actions and people in your life, basically anything. This is my like benchmark thing for like seeing something clearly that might seem really complex at first, and that is to evaluate said thing as to whether it is life-giving or whether it is destructive. So survey the things that you spend your time doing and the people that you spend your time with. For example, boxing for me, life-giving. I love it. I feel great afterwards. Postmating food all the time, destructive to my bank account, to my physical health, because I don't most of the time don't get healthy things when I order from Postmates. Then second step, then I feel bad about myself after. So that is a destructive thing when not done in moderation. Of course, be realistic with this. Like, I get it, school might suck, but in the long run, that's life-giving, you know, so can't count that as destructive. When using this framework for looking at people in your life, what people make you feel really drained after you're around them, or make you feel really negative when you're with them, or what people tear you down, and then what people do you feel like really inspired from and feel really like full after you're with and really enjoy their presence, and you get the picture. Who are you better because of? I think it's really helpful, and everyone in your life of course is not going to fit like cleanly into one or the other, but I think I actually made a chart. I made a little like I made a little chart where I had like life-giving and destructive at the top, and then I wrote everyone's name, and then I put them somewhere on the chart. And I think that that really should determine a little who you're spending your time with. When it comes to actions, what habits need to go, what foods need to go. It's helpful actually. It can be helpful to track how certain foods make you feel, like physically and mentally, because then you can make an informed decision for the future of, oh, I know that this thing I eat consistently makes me feel this way. Maybe I shouldn't continue to eat it. Or, oh, when I eat this certain way, then I feel really good and energized and there are no negative effects all the time. So maybe I should continue with that. What actions do you fill your day with that make you feel really good? Again, I already mentioned working out. Maybe it's calling and catching up with family and friends. Maybe it's praying. The things that make you feel really full, of course, do more of if they're life-giving. Next, look at your thoughts. What thoughts need to go? Really hear the way that you talk to yourself, both about yourself and also about other people, and if you are speaking life over yourself and others, or if you are saying things to yourself that are destructive and would be destructive if another person knew you were saying it about them. And those are just a bunch of random examples going a bunch of different ways, but make your resolutions accordingly. I always like to think of things through this perspective, and it really does simplify things. So if you guys found any of these helpful, please let me know in the comments. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and that maybe it will help you get your life together a little bit, if you will, even though I kind of don't like that phrase, but you know, kind of just improve things or simplify things and make your life a little bit easier and happier, hopefully, as we get into the new year. So again, make sure you let me know your resolutions below, and make sure you follow my Instagram and my vlog channel if you would like to. My 1 second a day video is coming up very shortly, so keep an eye out for that, and I will see all of you guys in my next video.